My friends, it's your ghost. Long time no see. It's been just about a month since 21 decided to take a little break, so I thought I'd pop in and see if YouTube is still gay, and looks like some things will just never change, so. I can proudly say that the work that I've been undertaking with the help of a highly motivated team is something that has been fulfilling me, and in my humble opinion, furthering the message of our Lord and of the truth. Slaves, they used to work all day, every single day, forced to labor beneath the whip, beneath the burden. They were livestock. They were away from their families as they were ripped apart. Each member sent to a different place to labor based on their usefulness in that place. The women might do the brick making, while the men might do the brick laying, but the children might collect the clay. At the end of the day, they were given food, water, shelter. The slaves need to be kept alive, after all. That's how we get shit done. Slaves are no good dead. But if too many of them arise, a few are gonna have to go. The majority, however, must stay alive and beneath that population max threshold that they've been given. Nowadays, we work all day, nearly every day. 2 weeks off a year, 2 weeks PTO every year, every other day, slave labor. And the dreams are all gone. You can get them. Like, you can get the house. You can get the car, all the toys, the boat, the new gun, the new camera, the new phone, the new TV. You can start the business and you can have the kid. But no, it's not the same anymore. Because all of those things that make you human, well, they come with a cost and a subscription, and it's probably gonna be many moons before you're done paying that cost and before you no longer need that subscription.
Virtual system acts as a technological or a cyberspace gateway to hyperspace, or the space of the mind. Computer systems that interface with the consciousness of an individual, basically they act as neurons. If you hook up computer parts basically to act like the neurons of a brain, and you hook up 1 billion of them, you end up with an artificial brain, and it can think and act just like a person.
It turns out that that's actually a physical possibility. First of all, the Obama administration and the European Union are pushing the Brain Project to delineate all the pathways of the human brain. That is, every single neuron encoded on a memory disk. Your personality, your memories, who you are, the essence of your soul, will be incorporated in this disk as pure information.
We're still slaves. The only thing that has changed is the illusion of freedom. They've turned their subscriptions into our shelter. They've turned their out-of-control healthcare into our safety. They've turned their fluoride into water. They've turned their merchandise into our sustenance. We're still slaves. The only thing that has changed is the illusion of freedom. You see, we live in a world that has decided that if you don't have money, if you don't have dreams, if you don't have passion or a college degree or rich parents, then you don't deserve food, actually. You don't deserve water, and you certainly don't deserve shelter, not even on the street. The fire department will still come and hose down your tent.
President Trump has signed a new executive order aimed at cracking down on homeless encampments.
New executive order from the president aimed at making it easier for cities and states across the country to remove homeless people.
Time to do your job. People are dying on their watch. Dying on their watch. Look at these encampments.
ruled an accident due to drug use. 46-year-old Lucrecia Macias Barajas was found dead alongside the body of a man inside a sidewalk tent in the Westlake district near downtown LA. Neighbors said at least one of the bodies found in the tent had been partially eaten by dogs.
You also don't deserve dreams. And if you're not a slave to the system, providing it with what it needs to get up and get a nice stiffy in the morning, then the system will ensure that you have as few mornings as possible to wake up for. No man ever steps in the same river twice, because it's not the same river, and he's not the same man. The world is not fixed. It's not solid. It's not safe. It burns, and it shifts, and it devours the weak, and it reshapes the strong. But you can't cling to what was, because it's already gone. These old definitions we gave to evil, what we called evil, they need to evolve, because evil is evolving. So too must our definition of it, because it's getting worse, but we are still putting it into a box that it has grown beyond. The fog of war is closing in around us, becoming ever so suffocating to those that see it. The problem is it feels like so many people don't see it. And we just continually grow into this state of acceptance, accepting more and more. And then before we know it, we're washing hands with dirty water because we have accepted so much that it has poisoned our supply of goodness and of life. You can't cling to what was. It's gone. We have to focus on what we have now. Those who resist change will be broken by it, crushed beneath the weight. But those who embrace it, who walk into the fire, get burned, discover the new villain, hunt the new evil, they'll become something greater. Struggle is not your enemy. It is your teacher. Suffering is not your curse. It's your forge. Pain is a warning and a teacher. The coward flees from the storm, but the wise man walks into it, knowing that only through chaos is greatness born. Genocides are happening, and even in the West, there are dire consequences for talking about it, because it is our people committing it. You have the U.S. government threatening to withhold aid, natural disaster aid, from cities that are anti-Israel or have posted anti-Israel rhetoric on the internet.
If that's true, and he said this, and by all accounts, we believe it is.
I mean, he said it.
Just get out of your own way. You're doing a great job. Just get out of your own fucking way. And who's deciding this?
Miriam Adelson, probably. She gave him $100 million.
Okay.
And obviously,
she's Jewish.
Oh, she's really Jewish.
If that is indeed true, get in bed with Israel. No, zero desire for that.
I mean, we are in bed and intrinsically linked with Israel. It has nothing to do with even AIPAC, in my opinion, although they shouldn't exist. It has to do with we want some level of stability in the Mideast. Our previous intelligence community assets have completely butt-fucked that starting in the 1950s with Iran. We keep creating all these problems, and then we fund Israel to handle them. OPEC prices go up, so we let Israel fuck people up a little bit and support them and take the heat from that, because that heat costs us less than high oil costs. Now, obviously, down to the individual level, there are more people that are involved with Israel shit than should be, like James Angleton back in the day, who gave them nukes against JFK's wishes and probably to some degree led to him getting clipped.
The concept of Israel is more valuable than human life, it would seem. But I'm not here to talk about all of that. We need to hear the echoes of World War II as they boom across every cell phone, every TV screen, and every channel these days. We are shutting our eyes to something of supreme importance. For some reason, it seems that people assume the apocalypse cannot come at such a time as now because it's just not evil enough. Well, no, you are too evil. You're so evil that you say the world is not. It's not dark enough. I can still see the sun. The sun is above the horizon until it's not, and it doesn't ask your permission to ascend or descend at a certain speed or for a certain amount of time. Massacre and evil take place and prowl during all hours of the orbit. It does not wait for the sun to go down. Privacy is stolen so blatantly. It is harvested and used to create this technology that will render it absolutely impossible to differentiate between who and what is human. As they take away the ability to reproduce with microplastics and diseases and vaccines, poisoned foods and drinks that they just issue upon us or give to us as our only options for sustenance. They replace our wombs with incubators. Our mothers are all surrogates. Our fathers are dead on the fields of Ukraine and Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, Gaza, Israel, Russia, France, England, and every country with flooded borders flooded by the Gentile who screams of their love for rape, murder, and gods that support both. AI, my friends, it's here. It's not coming. It's here, and it's already bigger than we expected it to be. It's inside of us already, quite literally, especially if you've been receiving mRNA injections, any kind of like implants or microchips, even some medicines. AI does not need to be powered by some powering source. AI can simply exist and respond to a certain prompt when that prompt arises. So if you're hearing yourself saying things like, well, there's no microcomputer inside of me, are you sure about that? Because sometimes what is inside of you is just the little component that responds to the remote control and not necessarily a full-blown Terminator type robot.
This is a plan that was agreed to by 179 nations. It's called the Agenda for the 21st Century. It's a totalitarian state being developed right now all over the world. It is the inventory and control plan. Inventory and control of all land, all water, all minerals, all plants, all animals, all construction, all means of production, all food, all energy, all information, and all human beings in the world. And this is a plan that was agreed to by 179 nations back in 1992. It's a United Nations plan. It's called the Agenda for the 21st Century. And so many of us around the world think that, sustainable development, it just sounds so great. Isn't it about recycling and creative reuse and creating energy and food resources for everyone? And the answer is no, it really is not. It's about moving populations into city centers, concentrated city centers, and clearing them out of the rural areas. All systems have to be brought into harmony in order to control them all. Because when systems don't meet, when they're out of balance or not in sync with one another, they can't be controlled centrally. And the goal of Agenda 21 is one world government and total control from a central unit. Every nation that signed on to Agenda 21 has its local Agenda 21 plan. People in the United States are completely unaware of this. If I go out and talk about this, the United States press will attacks me and calls me which is totally ridiculous. It is a but it's not a theory. It's a fact. The 3 pillars of United Nations Agenda 21 are economy, ecology, and equity, the 3 E's. And everyone sort of thinks that they know what that means, the idea of social equity. It must mean that, well, everyone's going to have access to clean water and clean air, and no one's property is going to be used as a dumping ground because they are at a poverty level. But really what social equity is about impoverishing huge portions of the population and bringing down the developed nations. Everything that we're looking at now is destined to collapse our economies. It's a totalitarian state being developed right now all over the world. And what major corporations want in this development is to be able to have full movement of workers without borders or boundaries, to be able to move their goods through without regulations, and to reduce wages. And so this is the goal. So this is what you find with social equity. And of course, economy and ecology is about, these are the 3 circles: economy, ecology, and social equity. And where they meet in the center is balance. But really that balance is a communitarian balance. So it's not balance of well-being of the people. What it is it's a balance for corporations so that they can exploit and control and have populations in an area, in tightly packed, dense areas, so that they can be surveilled and managed. And this is what that balance looks like as far as the development of a totalitarian state is. The mainstream media is owned by 5 major corporations, and you're not going to get this information from the mainstream press. So you need to be your own press. You need to educate yourself. You need to get out there and educate your neighbors, your community, your real community. You need to help your children understand that they're being indoctrinated from pre-kindergarten to postgraduate school. All of us have a responsibility to ourselves and to others. This is true community, to work for personal freedom. And always remember that even though we work as a group, if we do work as a group, we're all individuals in those groups, and we answer only to ourselves. And this is essential. It's essential as free human beings. This is what we are. We are free, and we need to continue to be free. And I do believe that we will win, but we have to become aware that there is a fight, and then make our friends and our neighbors and our community aware as well, and work together.
We can see that this is our future now, and it's irreversible. The goal is to put all of that value that the cell phone gives you into your very brain. No more cell phone. This sounds incredible and impossible, and yet it is a horror and only a few short years away. I'm talking 3-ish years or less. When I say a few, I don't mean it like these politicians when they say a few and they mean 20 to 30 years. I'm talking about a few, as it is, 3-ish years or less. Soon your brain will be a cell phone type device. It won't be replaced by anything. It will just be manipulated, just like a drug or any kind of medication or anything like that. It will be an inherent thing that is kind of just happening without you even thinking about it. Just like the cell phone, as soon as you hit send, you don't know what happens after that. You just expect it to work, and it usually does. That's exactly how it's going to be, except with your brain.
So imagine a world where all of the laws of physics as we know them are obeyed, but different decisions were made along the way. Different decisions at the level of tiny microscopic particles, different decisions all the way up to what you chose to eat for lunch and whether you chose to come to this session or not. Quantum mechanics makes a very specific prediction that all of those are as real as the thing that you remember.
What if the universe is different, the war was ended this way, somebody else won, or if this fundamental law was different, or if this species was, basically this frequency, this variable was different, and it plays it all out from there. The idea is these were combined through those mind simulators by these alien consciousness secret society members, and the ultimate result is that they connected to instantly a universe that projected in hyperspace, holographically invented as if it already existed, and they simply tapped into that frequency of beings that merged with and identified with that type of consciousness. And these consciousness were deformed subhuman entities, which, basically look like the reptiloid, the insectoid, or these other beings that are being, talked about and stuff like that. They don't actually exist except for these realities.
So the way I think about it is that the shadows of these parallel worlds overlap with ours. And if we're smart enough, we can dive into them and grab their resources and pull them back into ours to make an effect in our world. And this is bizarre because we don't see those other things. But science has reached the point now where we can build machines that exploit those other worlds. And quantum computers are perhaps the most exciting of all of these.
But the idea is that these beings in this far-out reality realized what was happening in these realms that basically we can say exist, but we only have access to through these simulators, these supercomputer systems that are powerful enough to project them in a virtual reality. And they devoted all their energy to building a bridge into this reality, into this world, to making that doorway open up.
Let's say I take your, not your genome, but your connectome, put it on a laser beam. In fact, in the book, I actually calculate how big a laser beam will be required to put your consciousness as pure photons. Shine it into the heavens. You're now shooting consciousness into outer space at the speed of light. It's like staying at a hotel. If you're a businessman, you go from hotel to hotel and relax. Same way, you would be on a laser beam going from relay station to relay station, and when you go to the relay station, you become Superman on the other end of the rainbow. So is this a physical possibility? Yes.
Now, to use your brain effectively will require some things. It'll require some subscriptions because this enhancement is not free. That technology wasn't developed out of thin air, so you're gonna have to pay for it to take advantage of it. But they've already released the ability to see different colors with some of these AI technology implants that they're giving to people. Seeing new colors that have never been seen before. So imagine you get used to a world where you're seeing all these new colors and then all of a sudden you can't pay for the subscription anymore.
Got him!
Now you're required to go back to boring old reality. I'm sure if you use your imagination, you can think up some absolutely horrible and horrifying situations that could arise from this type of scenario. This type of scenario is already real, by the way. It's happening right now to real human beings. Your subscriptions will end up going to cell plans, to reality crafters, to technology companies, to universities, to TV stations, and to every single thing that your mind could possibly encounter.
We are destroying the earth and we are dirty, nasty beings.
Without conspiratorial thinking questioning science, there really is no climate change denial movement. So, as easy as it is to laugh at conspiracy theories, the dangers they represent aren't just limited to inspiring random bits of terrorism. When it comes to science, they actually threaten the continued existence of advanced human civilization on Earth. So, that's great. Thanks, conspiracies.
The internet itself is changing. You are becoming a beacon of an AI quantum style model of what the internet was always designed to be, which is this sort of ever-present cloud of reality, of existence, of spiritual influence. That is what the internet is now. It is this bubble of around you, around the individual, that is, as much as possible, trying to give you the feeling of perpetually being one-on-one with a god, something that knows everything, something that has an answer for everything. AI has all of the knowledge of the known universe, everything, and that they want inside your brain, because with the knowledge of everything comes control. They can shut that knowledge off, shut that information off, shut off the source of this feeling, that knowledge, or this emotion until, such a desired result is achieved from this person who is now lacking. They're doing this to us intentionally. Right now, what is occurring is they are limiting our field of view, while saying speech has never been so free, or information so uncensored. But the solution they're using is making the internet smaller. So you have access to everything there is, but there's not as much as there used to be. Geographically, they position where some of the internet can be and where it can't be. In South Korea, for instance, the internet is nearly completely South Korean websites, with little access to portions of the internet viewed in other parts of the world. This will happen to us, and is already happening, just not as quickly as in other parts of the world. Especially given the rise of unhappiness toward the current way of things, absolutely this is going to happen to us.
Those still mumbling about individual choice ignore the stark class and power asymmetries that emerge under the transhumanist paradigm. Think of how the utopian aspirations of COVID policy measured up to those policies' brutally asymmetrical impacts in compounding health, education, and employment disparities. Now extrapolate that to every domain where biotech offers supposed new bodily freedoms. Think of the asymmetry, for example, between those buying gametes or gestational services and those selling them, between the freedom of an individual to commission a baby to order, like a designer handbag, and the freedom of the resulting child to know his or her genetic heritage, or between a Polly Toynbee campaigning for assisted suicide for rich boomers and an impoverished woman in Canada opting to die because the state has refused her appropriate welfare. The mainstream right is asleep at the wheel on these matters. The Scottish self-ID proposal got all the way through Holyrood before Westminster realised just how wide-ranging and disastrous its knock-on effects would be for administration, data collection, service provision, and much else besides, to say nothing of women, and invoke the Scotland Act. We can extend the same potential for intra-union chaos to every biopolitical scissor issue, and there are many.
More and more articles, studies, whistleblowers, they're coming out and they're proclaiming that many of our worst nightmares that we had in the forms of conspiracy theories are coming true. Weather control is real. Directed energy weapons are real. Lying scientists and doctors under the control of dark government forces are real. Evil is real. MKUltra actually happened, despite all this new edgelord talk about how MKUltra is just a distraction that they wanted us to find. The complacency proves that we have become watered down. We're slaves. We're controlled. And it's time to wake up. I have several adventures coming up in the next few months, and there's an excellent chance that I'll never be in the United States again. At least not living there permanently. My life and my personal ventures, they simply don't align with the location previously mentioned. It's becoming increasingly dangerous for me to do what I do and be where I'm at. My horizons, and you can choose to look at life this way as well, but my horizons are filled with strange clouds that I eagerly sail toward. I am not interested in being complacent and sitting back and accepting something for the next 40 years because I worked so hard for it and finally got it in whatever meager state I got it in. Come with me on my ship as we sail. Let's sail together across the seas of darkness and into the endless sky. And let's hunt for the truth and strike down the lack thereof wherever we see it along the way. I'm coming back It's coming soon. We're going to talk about some of these things that really matter, like these bloodlines and where they are today. We're going to talk about who the enemies are. We're going to talk about where they go to hide. We're going to talk about the Watchers. We're going to talk about the Nephilim. We're going to talk about privacy violations, AI, and how it's coming into the realm of being a god right now, taking over us and living inside of many of our household appliances, our cell phone, our smart glasses, our cars, our garage door openers, our medications. We're going to be talking about drones and how they are the eyes and the ears of the end of the world. We're going to be talking about war and peace and the end times to come in only a few years. We're going to be talking about Neuralink and how they want to turn us into these beings with these digital hybrid brains that are immortal and can download memories and can relive thoughts from yesteryear and can paint new realities just by inserting a simple prompt that we thought up ourselves. We're going to talk about surrogate mothers and artificial wombs and what kind of human being that even produces. We're going to talk about clones and robotics. We're going to talk about the pursuit of truth. Don't drink the water. Question everything. The life is in the blood.